All right, so we're gonna do flowers today, and then here's everything that I have set up. I have my poster board. I have this little rotating tray below there, like a pottery one, so that I can hit different sides of it, and I got painter's tape. Okay, first things first, I'm going to tape this down now so that I don't forget to do it later. When you're doing spray paint art, typically you're going to do glossy side up. So just make a little loop, put it on there, put it down. Doesn't need to be crazy tight or anything, just enough so that when you if you're touching it, it doesn't fly off. If you're spinning it, it doesn't fly off. Give it a rotate once or twice so that you can make sure it spins all the way around. The next thing you're going to want is you're going to want to have all of your paints. So these are all pre-shaken. So we have this clear gloss enamel. All right, I just use Rust-Oleum. It's easily accessible at Home Depot. I try to always get the glossy kind. So I'm going to do black for the edges, and I picked some nice contrasting colors, with that. So I've got some yellow. You can always tell by the top. Green for the stem, blue to make it pop, and then a few other colors in here. So I've got that. I have gloves to keep my hands dry or clean, and I have a mask to wear. All right. And then I've got two pieces of cardboard or poster board. This one is bent already, so I'm going to put a channel. I'm going to put the green inside here and use it for the stems. And then this is what I'm going to use to make the petals. You see what happens. And then I'm going to use this to rotate as I'm making the petals to try to keep it somewhat even. So we'll start off by putting my gloves on. And then we'll jump into it. So I'll talk as I put these on. So I'm going to do black around the edges of it, and then I'm going to do more colors on the inside. So I want to do a black layer first, all right, around the back part over here, boom. And then I'm going to put multiple layered colors in here, but I want it to dry a little bit before I move on to the next step. If you don't, everything kind of mixes together and it doesn't look as good, in my opinion. So I did say they're pre-shaken, but I just shake it a little bit again. So if you don't shake your spray paint really well, it ends up, a little bit too much of a chemical. There we go. It ends up not being well mixed, which means you have isolated streaks inside there, and it doesn't look very hot at all. There's lights on the top. That's what that picture is. That's what those reflective things are. All right. So I'm doing more in the middle. Boom. Okay, so this is my background. It's gonna kind of dissolve into each other. So initially it looks really pretty, it looks really nice, but then it'll mix a little bit more. And we're gonna let it do its thing. I turn the light off to get a better picture to kind of show you how it mixes over time. But one other thing you can do to kind of jazz it up is you can spray some of the contrasting colors onto your finger. So I'm going to spray it on my finger, flick it off a couple times, and then I'm going to flick it onto the painting itself around the edges of it, because this has kind of got this galaxy vibe to it. So I'm just going to put it on pause, let this dry for, I don't know, a little bit of time, and we'll see what happens. My goodness, I can't pause it because my fingers won't make contact with it. It's okay. All right, it's probably dry-ish. So flick it off a couple times. Bam. Sides. All right. And you can already see in the back where it initially goes and then it begins to spread out. I kind of like it. I don't like it if I'm trying to make stars, but a painting like this, it kind of gives a picture of focus. All right. So let's let this dry a little bit more, because what we're going to end up having happen is we're going to have it mix too much. So we'll just pause it. All right, it's been about a minute or 2 minutes, plenty of time. So now we're going to do 2 layers, 3 layers maybe max. But it's really important that you don't do too many layers unless you let it dry for a little while, but since I'm just trying to get this done before I take my son to a movie, I'm not going to do too many layers. If you do, they all melt together. All right, so now we're just going to spray around. One. All right, so now that we've got our layers down, now we can start making our flowers. You can kind of see I've already chosen a spot or two to try to do it. So I just take this card right here, real simple. I'm just gonna go up and down. I actually tore off a smaller piece too. I'm gonna try and do a smaller flower. We'll see what happens. So after you do one, you're just gonna go, it's real simple. Just gonna go up and down. Oh my goodness. And you can see it reveal the colors below, right? That's why you wanna let it dry out. If it gets too dry, that's the reason why we have, one of the reasons we have the clear. The clear is like gets it all wet again and lets it be more malleable and usable for what our purposes are. You can see the paint kind of pooling together a little bit right there. So we've got one down, right? That's a pretty big one. So let's put the smaller one right next to it. So this one's much, much smaller. We'll see what happens. All right, and then we'll do one more of these puppies. Oh yeah, so now it's real dry, okay? So just a little of that clear spritz on it, and it should move again now. Yeah, there we go. If you're too hard, I did one of these a little bit too hard. It kind of takes away from the like scraping and revealing, and you can see the white underneath, or it kind of just like gives a different texture to it. Not the end of the world. Yeah, I might need a little bit more on here. There we go. Sorry if the light is making it not the best to see, but we'll take a nice picture of it when it's done. Now, if you feel like you messed up and you want to go back over it, just be kind of careful because the paint all wants to mix together, and then it loses its form and feature, and it becomes more of like just a mixture. You can see it mixing on this one. It's turning a bit green. So, all right. So now we've got our initial flowers. Let's see if we can turn this off and see if it looks, there you go. We got our cosmic flowers. So now we're going to do our stems. So I'm just going to take this, spray a little channel inside there. I'm going to drag it up and out. So initially, like the nice thing about this is when you start at the base of it and go up, it gets fatter and kind of goes a little bit thinner. I don't know. I think that's Nice little look to it. So I'm not putting a ton in there. I kind of dab it a little bit. We'll see how it goes. This is usually where things go wrong, if it can go wrong, right? There we go. This part's kind of more important for it to be a bit more dry, because when the paint is more dry here, it's not going to want to mix in with it all, right? There we go. So we've got our stems. We've got it looking the way it wants to look. That stem went on the pedal a little bit. Oh, well, not a big deal. So now that we've got this going, there's one more thing we can do if we want to, which is add more stars. You see how the first ones are real wide and diluted and spread out? It kind of has this like pixelated, you know, view, out of focus view. I'll do another one, another more splats, flicking it off, and then I'm just going to flick it at the top. I want to be real careful. I don't want to hit my flowers with it too much. If you want to hit your flowers, hey, go for it. But like if I'm trying to do planets and whatnot, I like to make sure that I don't have a star in front of my planet. Maybe it's a satellite, who knows? Okay, so there we go. Oh, and then the very important part. You want to sign your work. You want to be proud of what you've done. So I'm going to wet it up a little bit and then see if I can still put my name inside there. Cool. Kind of worked. There we go. 24. Cool. All right. That's it. Super simple. Takes like 15 minutes to get it done. You can have really nice effects.